evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for being here today with this very delicate topic. Today we are starting off our campaign for breaking the cycle, and it's concerning child sexual abuse. So we're going to be discussing what it is that USP Party, the laws that we intend to work on, and also we are going to go a little bit more into details about the law that was presented in Parliament, and we will be presenting our board members as well, so everybody can get to know them. And also we have a special guest that will be talking more on the topic that has been working 40 years, over 40 years in that, if I understand correctly, regarding children's sexual abuse. Okay, so breaking the cycle. What is the intention of the campaign? The intention of this campaign is to exchange important information between US Party and the different communities. The campaign every month will be geared towards an important focal point within the community. The USP team is focusing on the amendment of different laws that have direct impact on the community as a whole. And also we want to hear from the public what are the difficulties you are experiencing, so when amending and making new laws, we take those matters into account to better address the issue. So we will proceed now with meeting our new board. We have Mr. Cecil Nicholas, our new president.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cecil Nicholas. I'm the current president of the United Samoan Party. This is my second tenure. In 2014, I was the first president, as well as one of the founding members of the United Samoan Party. I want to thank you guys for your support. In 2014 to now, without you, this would not have been possible. And I want to encourage you and thank you in advance for your continued support. For your continued support for the United Samoan Party and its initiative, taken up by our new leader, Pamela Gordon-McCarthy, with regards to child sexual abuse and amending the laws so that the victims can get justice.
Next we have our vice president, which is Mrs. Brooks Martin-Borough. But due to unforeseen circumstances, she is not here at the moment. So we will proceed with our next board member. Our treasurer, Mr. Lloyd Paul.
Thank you, leader. Good evening to everybody. Good evening to those who are present here. I also want to join with the leader and the president of the party, Cecil Nicholas, and saying welcome to this informative session. I think it's something that is needed, and USP is definitely taking the initiative, moving forward and showing our concern and care for the community. We don't only care about going to vote, while that is very important. We also care about how we live, how we interact, and the ability and in terms of taking care and being interested in the social well-being of our community. My name is Lloyd Paul, the treasurer. I've been in this position from inception. I'm also a co-founder of the USP. And I want to tell you that those of you that are with us, that have been with us, thank you for the support. And I know many more will be coming on board, and you're very welcome in USP Mansion. There's a room for everybody, so don't feel left back. Just come in, and you'll be welcome, and we'll be able to join hands and hearts and embrace with you. Thank you again for tonight, and I hope that we have a very good time as we move forward in the different communities. I thank you.
Next we have our Secretary, Mr. Khalil Ravan.
Good evening, excuse me, everyone. Let me say good evening to all that are here. Good evening to our new leader of the USP, Ms. Pamela Gordon-Carty. I want to firstly thank all of you for coming out. I think this is a very critical issue that for far too long has been overlooked or not even looked at all. So I want to thank the leader of the USP for bringing this to the fore and not allowing this to any longer stay in the back rooms and hidden from what is really transpiring with our youth. It gives now the opportunity for victims to really be able to get justice, some level of justice. And unfortunately, when I look at the crowd, I see a sea of women, but I think this is an issue that is also important to men to understand what is happening in the community and what is our role to ensure that we too are able to protect our children and do what is right for all of our children of this community. So thank you, Pamela, for all that you are doing. Thank you for what you will continue to do, because this is a very critical and important issue, and I really hope that we get this law passed for the betterment of our children of this community. Thank you.
Then we have our marketing board member, Mr. Patrick Barwitt.
Thank you, Pamela. Good evening. Good night to everyone. It's nice having all of you here with us tonight. It's really great. I want to thank God for this opportunity that we have in this new campaign that we're going to be coming out with. And it's really breaking the cycle. There are a lot of people that are extremely happy that we're touching a topic like this. My heart is blessed to be with the U.S. family from inception, first as assistant public relations and now marketing. And I think one of the best things that we can market is having men behaving themselves. You know, I see our speaker shaking her head in agreement, you know. We're the ones that usually cause the trouble. So I'm extremely happy to be part of this campaign. Thanks to our leader for coming up with such a good idea. And may God continue to bless her as she leads us forward. God bless you.
And that's me. Yes, so, okay. What laws are we as USP party going to be focusing on moving forward? I know that there have many laws, many things, many matters that we have to deal with, but we are going to start with the vulnerable group first, because I think it's important that we as a society, as a community, focus on those that need it the most. So our main focus will be starting with the vulnerable group first, which is the children. We're going to be focusing on the overall aspect of a child. So it starts from education, the social conditions of the child, and the living conditions. How can we improve as a society and a community to improve that our children, which is the next generation coming forward, that we can better the place, the living place for them. So to that extent, taking into account the living conditions, which is of importance, we know that children's sex abuse is prevalent on Country St. Martin. So that's why we have started with that law, amending those laws, because it's happening too much on Country St. Martin, and it's something that is being hidden. People do not like to talk about it. We were on the radio this entire week, and we got really, really good results. People were calling in. Some people were even telling us about their past stories how they felt, and it's a very delicate topic. A lot of people do not like to touch it because it hurts, and people sometimes see how children that has been abused, they either end up on a negative path, or some with the help of the community, they still end up to come back on the right path. And I think it's important, we as a community, for us to pay more attention on what is happening to the children, not only our children, because of course each one of us have to protect our children, but at the end of the day, it has some out there that need the help from the community as well. So we need to have an open eye to that and see how all of us can assist. The one way that we can assist is by making sure that the laws are there for when things happen, that at least the punishment can be a little bit more severe. So we started up with amending of the two laws. It's actually four because they're intertwined. And that gives the possibility and the option that the perpetrator can get a harsher, a more stringent punishment when taken to courts. First, the laws were very general, but with the amendments, it has been introduced in Curacao. Those are the ones that we want for St. Martin to apply as well, in the sense of details, detailing the object, the methods, mentioning the perpetrator's name in the sense of being a father, a stepfather, mother, stepmother, being an aunt, an uncle, different things that you have to mention into the law in order for lawyers that are defending the perpetrators, that they don't use those loopholes, that they give their own interpretation to the law, making it possible for those that are committing the crime can still walk away. Objects has been put and mentioned as a detail as well, because first the law was stating vlees of vlees, which in English means flesh on flesh, in the sense of penis, vagina, penis, anal. So now you have to detail it in the law, stating objects as well, because people has become very creative and they're using objects. Objects in the sense of dildo, bottles, it can be plastic, different things. So those details have to be added inside of the law in order for people to understand that when it happened, the law is there, that they can pinpoint the law now, stating that, hey, this is part of the law, you commit a crime. That was the first step. The next step is that we want to increase as well the amount of years. We want to increase the amount of years. We want to hear from the public other details that they know. How you might have heard from a friend, from a family member, you might have heard from somewhere, you might have heard a story. We need those extra details in order for us to continue adding those in the laws, so that when it goes to courts, the perpetrators then get lesser of a chance to get away with what they're doing. So that's why we are asking the public to please to put more focus on when we are asking them to come out, do not feel no type of way to be stigmatized, because again, it's a very sensitive topic and people have the tendency to feel that, you know, maybe if they come to a presentation like this, that people might think, you know, is that one abused victim? Has that one been sexually abused? So it have, the community is so small, and people have this belief that if they come to certain presentations, people will stigmatize them, and that's why it's a very sensitive topic for people to talk about. But I think it's good for us to continue talking about it, so it is aware and people know about it and feel no type of way, because we have to embrace the children that is going through all of these things. The next group that we will be focusing on when it comes to laws is the elderly. When it comes to pension and living conditions, we are going to be focusing on that as well. So every other month, the intention is that USP will be presenting certain topics to the community where we want the input of the community. So in order for us to upgrade the laws, existing laws that are there, it's important we can have our own legal team, but we need to hear from the ground what they are experiencing. And based on that, we can update with details, we can update the laws in order for it to fit the situation of every particular matter. The youth, the young adults, opportunities within the labor force. Actually, that was one of my next laws that I am working on. I feel that it is very important for us to integrate the youngsters more into the option, the possibility of getting into working, when they finish with the education, and not giving them that, leaving them wide open that they have to fend for themselves. So it have different laws that I will be presenting as well, but I would like to have the input of the public, see what the youth is experiencing when they are going to look for jobs, when they are basically finishing school. What are the hurdles that they are that they experiencing in order to upgrade our laws. Then we have the working adult. Everybody know that nowadays that's a very sensitive topic as well, as we have a lot of unemployment, and especially after Irma, and then with the pandemic, a lot of people lost jobs, and you have many cases that went to courts, but still the court's verdicts has not been, how would you say, executed. It has many that are being unjustly treated. So it has different situations within the working force that we have to deal with. So it's good for us to check those laws and make amendments to those laws as well. But in order for us to make amendments, we need to hear again from the public. The other thing that we're going to be focusing on is the business group, which is employer, business incentives, how to get our youth to be part of it systematically. You have to discuss this with the business group because they are part of it. Tax incentives for small business and selective sectors, the overall tax reform, and diversification of the economy. So these are some of the main focuses that we have right about now. And the children sexual abuse laws amendments have been delivered already, but there is a part 2 that is going to be delivered as well as a follow-up. So to be continued. The goal is to eradicate children's sexual abuse and to make the country a safe haven for our children. So the intention of the campaigns that we will be holding is within the different communities with the intention for the public to exchange information with us in order for us to make notes of those details and have those included in the laws. So we want to know, what can you as a public tell us that we can include inside of the laws as well? So any suggestions that can help us increase the safety of our children are welcome. So let us all hear it. We want to hear it so we know. Let's not continue having it as a taboo, because it is happening in country Samaritan, and it's something that we all have to deal with it. It don't have to come knocking to your door for you to realize that, okay, the laws are not up to date. Let's all be preventative busy. And preventative meaning starting to amend the laws in order to avoid more children getting abused. I would like to invite now Ms. Shiromo, Maria Shimon. So she has been on the field. Many know her already, and she has been dealing with this type of cases She was with me on the interview, and I met Miss Maria Chomo on the day, I think it was last year when we had something in the community, in this community center cell, and she was very vocal, and then afterwards, that's when our relationship started. And we exchanged a lot of information, and I think it's important for the community to know that it's not only us who is saying that, but we have more people out there that knows and that is experiencing this, and that it is very much real on Country Samantha. Miss Maria Schumer.
Thank you, Madam Gordon Carty, and congratulations as being the new leader of the U.S. party. You cut me a little bit off, but you know, in life they say you have to be a scout, and the motto is be prepared. So I am somewhat prepared for what I'm going to say this evening. And congratulations to the U.S. party. And first of all, I would like to say that to our audiences out there, don't look at this as a party problem or a party campaign. This is not about the party. This is about the real facts of sexual abuse and molestation within our community. It all starts most of the time in the home. And what we do, we tend to sweep it under the rug because SEX is supposed to be a dirty word. But I will tell you what, because of that we are all here. Because it is the reality of life, sexual activity. However, we need to live also by Bible principles. Respect for each other, respect for ourselves most of all, and learn to respect and protect our children. And need to wait until marriage actually, before we also become sexually active. We need to teach that to our children. We need to be open with our children. Don't hide things. Become your child friend when it comes to sex talk. Because it's about teaching your children the morals and values of life. Teaching your children also to be aware, be conscious of what can happen with them and around them. I have like 40 years, more than 40 years actually supporting, speaking up, speaking out, actually an activist when it comes to child abuse in the community of St. Martin. It's just a pity that we have social workers at the schools, we have social workers at the social welfare office. But then they're just there shuffling the papers, and when you go to them with something that was brought to your attention where child abuse is concerned, no action is actually taken. I have seen like 30 years, almost 30 years ago, a young lady within the community that I used to live in became victim of sexual abuse at a very early age. She was 8 years old. And it was brought to my attention. And then I spoke to the parents because it was like 10 o'clock in the night. I'm seeing this child coming from strange places. We need to know at a particular time where our children are. And not only our girl children, but also our boy children, because they can also talk about that too. Because it's my experience with dealing with certain situations where at the end of the day, the boy child is now a full-blown transgender because he was raped by a man, which was his aunt's boyfriend, right down in Dutch Quarter, and at the age of 7. This man was thrown in jail because these things are real. I was doing the prison ministry at the time. And I'm going to tell you, it is something that is very sad. Today, this young man lives in the Netherlands, transgender. He has very breasts and all, and he was raped twice. He was raped at the age of 7. Location, the Beavers Bush, down in Dutch Quarter. And the next place at the age of 12, which was a computer teacher. These things are real. And we need to keep an eye on our children. And it is such a pity that when you have these topics, the audience is small. But I would like to say that while we were on the radio, Mrs. Gordon, Carty, and myself, people were listening because they got a lot of calls, a lot of positive feedback from the ears of the hearers. So there is a need. So they tend not to come out in the setting. However, they are listening. And it is a serious and a very, very serious matter, topic, and we need not think that this can be so, because it is so, and I can definitely testify. And the reason why these things touches my heart, I used to live in Curacao. I went to school in Curacao, and at the age of 14 years, an old man that could have been my grandfather tried that with me. But thank God for a wise grandmother that taught us morals and values. So I was 14 years old, this man touched me. But that was the end of the story, because I called him my mother and I was out of here. And at the night, because we were a bit scared, it was 3 of us, girls. And then this man, I was laying down in the bed, and this man came hovering over me. And he said to me, if you be with me, every Saturday I'm going to give you $10. And this man was a man from St. Martin, living and working with Isla and Curacao. And my mother, having 8 children and living in West Point, Bandabo, married to a man down that side. But you want your children to be uptown and get a little education. You have a friend that is willing to help you, you know, to look at the children and so forth. And this couple didn't have any children of their own, but the man was a pedophile. And again, in the law, we also need to bring this clear, that when men commit this act in St. Martin, in our community, just in the law is in Holland, a pedophile, you are registered as a pedophile when you molest minors. And the law states that whichever area of district that you go, you have to report, because you are a pedophile. And then the neighborhood knows that you are there, and they know how to protect their children from the pedophile. When we do that, it might help also. But that need also be part of the law, that pedophiles, there is a must, they must be registered by law. It is a grave thing. It's very grave, and it's very troubling. I mean, the people that called in and called me, they are so troubled in their mind with this whole thing, because they never heard, because everything is hushed. Somebody, thief, they put out the thief. They have a difficulty, the law have a difficulty exposing the names of these people that you know, to look out for them. So that's why I am requesting that law be amended and added, pedophile registration. I don't care who it is. Because again, it is happening in homes, and I know several situations over the 40 years that has happened here in St. Martin by grandfather, uncle, brother, great sister. I know that one. You know, and sometimes I look at the little girl and I'm like, Lord have mercy, your uncle is your father. We have the situations where here in the community, the father breed the daughter. And it's very sad, as I know them. And like I said, I did prison ministry, so I come to them. So for me, this is a step in the right direction to Ms. Pamela as you are the leader, and we are supposed to support you with this, because the voice of the people has power. But if you keep our mouth shut and we don't open it, then everything is silent and it's dead. Unless we open our mouth and stand behind the cause, don't look at the color of the shirt, but read what it says in the back, breaking the cycle. We need to break this cycle. It's nothing new, but it needs to be broken at one point in time. And the time is now, but there's a lot of work to be done. Number one, we need to keep informing and educating our communities. We have our community centers. We need to use them for the right purpose. And I will say, make an approach and go into every district on St. Martin with this topic. Even if you have to ask me to come again, I will be coming. I have 3 daughters, and let's talk a little bit about myself here. I was married and divorced, and my 3 young daughters at home. I put myself on a shelf because it was about protecting my daughters, and it was not a thing of bringing a man every Monday, this mommy boyfriend. I out working shift work. Would I know what's happening to my children at home with a boyfriend, in a house, with my 3 daughters? Listen, we have to think about our children, because our children are our priority. They are defenseless and they depend on us, the parents, the adults, to defend them. And that's why it hurts so much when we see that adults who should know better are exactly the ones who are abusing the children. We've got to stop this and stop it now. Because what we are getting here, sometimes we are looking and we are seeing children walking in the community full speed on drugs, crazy, we call them. So mental issues for mental health. But we don't know the root cause. A lot of them, and I can say that because of experience it, as I mentioned before, with some youngsters that ended up on drugs, got AIDS and died. And when they died, they left also offsprings behind that society have to take care of because of child molestation, rape by our adult men. And I asking you, or telling you, because this is what happened. These are real issues. So at times we might see someone that is mentally ill, but we don't know. And I can say that because even so, years ago, it happened in my family. And we see someone and we say, they just got a nervous breakdown. But this thing works on these people's conscience over a period of time. And then become mentally ill. Then they become a burden to society. So to prevent all of this from happening, we have to continue standing up for the cause. Not behind the cause, but stand up for the cause. Because there's strength in standing up. Because when you're laying down, and you try to probably get up, your head might spin a little bit, but when you're standing up, and you have people standing behind you, next to you, and holding your hand, and helping you to gain that strength to speak up, and speak out against the ills of society, you gain the strength, the courage, and you then are able to fight the battle. Because in this, as a believer, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. But again, we need to take action. Because we can stand up here and say that, but if we don't move and stand the same spot, nothing is going to happen either. Because it's just like a job. If you get up in the morning, the Lord is going to help me. Lord helping me. But the Lord told you to use wisdom. Get up, bathe, brush your teeth, put on your clothes, step through the door, and then the Lord will lead the way. Are we going places? Isn't that not so? Because if you lay down on your couch and you just say the Lord is going to help you and you don't move, the work ain't coming to you. Nothing coming to you. But you have to activate. And like I said, the Bible, you have to activate the Word of God in your life. Because talking and no works, everything is dead. So with this action, we are having faith, and we must have faith in God that something positive is going to come about this. Action. Like they say, action in the bullpen, action is needed in the bullpen. And this garden party, and to all of the other supporters and those that are here, like my cousin Joyce, that is here. Thank you, Joyce, for coming out. That's another strong, powerful woman. She just like me, my cousin. You know, we talk the truth, and we doesn't care who get upset. Because again, in society, you have to let your voice be heard. You must do something. All of us are sitting down, and again, it things in our society, you don't mind your business. Why she don't mind her business? Why he don't mind his business? Listen, in society, children are our business. All of us business. It's about protecting the child, our future generation. Where will we be tomorrow as we continue to advance in age? If these children are not taught, if these children are not educated, if these children are not spoken to and about and supported morally, spiritually, and empower them. We need to empower our youth. Don't be a fool. Anybody touch you, you know what to do. Kick them. Just when it hurts. Right on the shin. A good kick on the shin, take a man down, with a good shoe. So we have to understand that as parents, let us educate and let us inform our children. Teach them morals and values of life. Because that is the only way that we can eradicate the sexual abuse of our little children. They are innocent, they need us, and we need to show them love. We need to show them understanding. We need to continue to show them that, hey, I am here for you. I am here to protect you, not to abuse you. Because abuse is happening in so many forms. And not only sexually, but right now we're sexually talking, but abuse happens in different forms. Emotional abuse of children, they can't focus anymore. You know, you have children that are very hungry in St. Martin in the morning, no food. They can't focus in school. And then you wonder why the child is not learning. So there's so much of topics that we can touch on beside that, but this is the most important topic at this point in time. So definitely being on drift, we're going to stay focused, and definitely we're going to continue to fight to break the cycle. It must be broken by the power of the Holy Spirit at this point in time. God is good to us. He wants us to use our wisdom, and He wants us to be there to empower each other, because again, it is about empowerment. We need to empower one another. How best can we do this? By having these type of meetings and these type of settings. We need to one-on-one approach. We need to talk, we need to discuss. Because nobody knows it all. I for sure don't know it all. But we need each other help that will help us to put it together and have a proper document that can represent us all and our children, grandchildren, and the next generation to come, because it is in the law. These laws are very old. They're older than me. So therefore we know that they need to be amended, and we need to have new laws as well added to what we have beside the amendment. Yeah? So I want to thank us all who have taken the time out to be here. God is good, because actually I have to be working. But then last night I understood last minute, you don't know what will come tonight, but you'll be paying for the night. So God makes a will. So I'm standing here in faith because it's God's will that I was here tonight. I don't know, you know, God is so good and the Spirit moves. And we need to believe in the power of the Holy Spirit because all things fall in place in the right timing. Not in my timing, not in your timing, but in God's timing. Everything works out in God's timing. So I'm just looking at this and it's like, Maria, I think that this is just your timing. It's God's plan together with Ms. Gordon Carty. I want to call her Pam, I'm so tempted to call her Pam. But as they say, you know why I do this? It's because we have to learn to give people, put the handle to the cup. When people come here in a necktie, in a briefcase, we call them meneer, mevrouw. And our own, we don't give what is due. So therefore, with all respect, which is God and Carty, I applaud you. And I appreciate your approaching me as a person to be able to hear my opinion and to be able to assist. Because I remember the radio show just before yesterday, I think it was Friday. She was a little shocked when she heard that I was coming. Because when I read this thing, I was like, you know something? Let me go and support this lady. Because the cause, it's not about her, it's the cause that she's fighting. The children. And children are dear to my heart. Because I know what it is to suffer. I know what it is to be disrespected as well. And if you don't have no common sense and you don't know the morals and values of life, people will really take advantage of you and abuse you in many, many ways. So I thank God for the opportunity this evening to be able to just say something and to be able to continue to support and let it be known that I am supporting this cause that we have started, breaking the cycle. May God continue to bless you and the party that are standing behind you, and to our audience that are there, that came out tonight to also support you in this cause of addressing this very, very serious matter within our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Shermo. Yes, indeed, it's a very delicate topic, and I think it's good for the public to know that we will be having this recording on the Facebook, on the USB, the United Samaritan Party. We would like for people to bring suggestions forward, interact with us on the Facebook page. Let us know what are your statements that you want to bring forward, details. Maybe you didn't get a chance to come out, but then there is a Facebook page that you can correspond with us, interact with us, so we can know the different other details that we need to know. So I want to invite everyone to follow us on Facebook. Follow us also on My 88.3, which is a station also that will be stating more about this topic, and also follow us on the different radio stations. I want to thank all the audience that is here, those that are home that didn't come. We want to thank everyone for fighting this battle together, because it's together we're going to fight it. It's not going to be by ourselves, not by myself. We have to do it together. We want to thank you and have a blessed night.